So, explanation of where I've been for the last 5.5 months. I was going to wait like a month or so before working on my next video. Trying to make a long story short, my computer had technical issues with my headphones not connecting, so I had to get that fixed. The guy who fixed it convinced me to get other things I didn't come in there for done, but I was like, fine, whatever, because he had done that before and he did a good job making my computer faster. 1 week later, I get it back, and the original problem is fixed, but the rest of the computer is fucked up. Whatever he did screwed up the software so fucking much, it screwed up everything I do. Recording videos became virtually impossible, even using my video software became impossible, so I had to wait a few months for seasonal sales to kick in so I can get a brand new laptop, which is another reason why I couldn't really update you guys on what was happening. Fast forward to late November and I get a new laptop. In celebration of me wanting to put out literally anything, I made this. Go watch it. Look, it's in the eye. I made that with every intention of making a new video in a week or so. But then the next problem came up. The lack of options. My old laptop is from 2013, so it's kind of old. But I discovered that my new laptop and all new laptops don't have inputs for speakers, which I need, and a USB port in order to connect my microphone. And I tried 3 different extensions to fix it, and it all failed. So I'm faced with the horrible realization that I need a new microphone because my old one is no longer compatible because technology companies tell their customers to go fuck themselves or buy our shit. So, brand new microphone you're listening to, $80 by the way, and still jobless. So with all that being said, let's get into it.
It's almost time. 10 seconds. 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Blast off.
Welcome back. It's your illustrious Lady Rouge Juana Full here, as we continue walking barefoot through hell. If you want to know what happened in the first part, go watch it. Oh look, the eye is back. It's up there. Click the link. If you already saw it, quick recap. We have 6 people who all scream restraining order, a too stupid to live protagonist, a horrible plot, and plot hole so large it makes 50 Shades of Grey look competent. Let's keep going. So the best example I could find of someone in a similar situation, pretty much the exact same situation as Yui, was Tara from True Blood. A character in the series just refused to find love and have real peace in her life and then kills her off screen in the final season. But that's a rant for another day. Tara was initially in a consenting relationship with a vampire named Franklin. At first it was just sex, but it grew into something a bit more. And I mean just a bit. The thing is, Franklin still used Tara to get information on her friend Sookie, but he also became obsessed with her. Aside from it starting consensual, it's the exact same situation. Now, imagine, for a moment, you strip away the pretty mansion setting and place everything that's happened to Yui in a shitty motel. The threats of bodily harm if you attempt to leave your captor, communication is cut off, and your ability to roam around by yourself is restricted considerably to basically impossible. And you're constantly being watched and taken advantage of. Yeah, you strip away that pretty mansion setting, it's not looking so romantic anymore, is it? It's looking more like Silence of the Lambs up in this bitch.
Mister, my family will pay cash. Whatever ransom you're asking for, they'll pay it.
It rubs the lotion on its skin or else it gets the hose again.
Yes, you will, precious. You will get the hose.
Now, here's the big difference between Tara and Yui. Tara's not a fucking idiot! She knows how dangerous Franklin is, how bad her situation is, and her mind isn't changed just because he takes her to a mansion later. She actually uses Franklin's obsession with her against him to escape. And none of what she went through just goes away. Oh no, the pain and emotional distress is treated exactly with the gravity it should be treated with.
You don't love anything. You can't. Because you are a psychopath. You violated me and terrorized me because that's what vampires do. And you're calling that love. I wish them all dead. For good.
You're talking about the man I love.
He's not a man. They're monsters. And Bill ain't any different from the rest of them. They tie you up and duct tape you so you can't scream. They kidnap you. rape you, try to turn you.
That's what Franklin did to you?
And the man you love didn't lift a finger to save me.
The only difference between Franklin and the Sakamaki brothers is that Franklin is a psychopath and the brothers are sociopaths. Psychopaths, among many other traits, are impulsive, irresponsible, and lack behavioral control. So a psychopath may not fully process what they're doing is wrong. Sociopaths, on the other hand, are fully aware what they're doing is wrong and don't care. The brothers know Yui in all likelihood will die if she stays in that fucking house, and only one of them tries to help her escape, but it's the same person that destroyed her only means of communication, and they never tried replacing it later. And as was already stated in the very first episode, she is not the first prospective bride that came here, not by a long shot. The possibility of death is sky high, but do they care? Nope. They are far more concerned with keeping Yui all to themselves because she is the walking, talking, edible arrangement. But Rouge, they save her life in the end. Yeah, of course they do. I mean, it's the season finale, but more importantly, they've been shown to be rather possessive of her blood, and Cordelia was possessing Yui. If killing them wasn't successful, then she in all likelihood would have bounced from that place. Cordelia, for the sake of her own safety, has no reason to stick around for the long run. But even so, and I can't stress this detail enough, the prospective bride has already been made, so no more unsuspecting women would be coming by anymore. From what I could tell, the uncle was the one who was sending women there, and he's dead as dirt. And I've watched season 2, all of it, regrettably, and no more women come. They have every selfish reason to get rid of Cordelia that has nothing to do with Yui's own safety and well-being. Every episode, Yui is getting her blood drank, and sometimes it happens multiple times in a single episode. And remember, they're only 12 minutes long, and the way it's shot, maybe a few hours have passed in between feedings. So it makes you think, why hasn't she died? Her body would not have time to recover from the constant blood loss. Her being passed around is so apparent, it's in the fucking intro. One by one, they go up to Yui. Her eyes closed, so even in the intro, no consent is given, while they all looked at the camera like, yeah, we're badass, we're so cool. I mean, Jesus Christ, Yui, you're as helpless as a baby goat and as dumb as an ostrich. And ostriches are stupid, stupid animals. Actually, no, I take that back. A baby goat will still headbutt you, and an ostrich still has flight or fight responses, a thing you lack entirely. Oh, I almost forgot. There's a flashback episode, because of course there is. And it shows the brothers as kids and their mothers during their quote-unquote tough childhood. Oh, Cordelia was a shit parent. Well, I think she should have whooped your asses more. And yes, I know Cordelia is worse than the manga, and I don't care. This is an adaptation and it needs to stand on its own, so don't even bother mentioning it in the comment section. Shu is sad because his mom didn't let him keep a puppy. Oh, woe is him. There's never been a child before Shu whose parents refused to let him keep a pet. And Reiji, are you jealous that your mom's attention got sucked away from you for 2 seconds? Oh, the humanity.
Let me play a sad song for you on the world's smallest violin.
But wait a minute, I thought you said Shu got everything he wanted in life.
I've had it with that deadbeat. As a child, he had everything handed to him on a silver platter.
You know, like all of you clearly did because you all grew up to be entitled brats. Am I supposed to feel bad for these guys? Because I don't. It's like showing me baby pictures of Hitler. I don't care. It's still Hitler. I know what he grows up into. What the hell is wrong with people? 51 on the best romance anime ever made? Since when has kidnapping, constant psychological abuse, and sexual assault been romantic? Shit, why did Disney bother changing the original ending to Sleeping Beauty? They might as well have kept the part of the prince raping her and getting her pregnant while she was still under the spell, lacking all agency and consent. 39 on the best shoujo anime and manga? So you're telling me that this piece of shit beat out Paradise Kiss, Ranma 1/2, School Rumble, Honey and Clover, and Princess Tutu? Is there no justice in this world? Oh, and let's not forget they're vampires. Which brings me to my next smaller point. Why are they vampires? Why are they vampires? They hold none of the weaknesses of vampires. Hell, they don't even really have the strengths of them except for super speed. But it's not even really super speed, it's teleportation. Normally with super speed there's a breeze or a noise, something that indicates that something just moved. But no, they just appear. Things like holy water or plain old crosses or mirror reflections haven't been a vampire weakness in media for the better part of a decade, save for What We Do in the Shadows. But come on, silver, wooden bullets, fucking sunlight, it doesn't affect them. Hell, they can eat normal food. Yeah, they're shown eating fucking dinner in both seasons. Why do you need blood if you can eat like a normal person? This isn't like Tokyo Ghoul, where in public they'll eat normal food, but in private they'll throw it up because if they don't, they'll become sick and weak. No, remember, other people don't exist in this world because it's based off of a shitty visual novel. There is no pretense. They were supposed to have dinner with their father, and Reiji says he couldn't even bother to attend our monthly dinner party. So them eating normal food would have happened regardless of Yui being there. Can you imagine how boring True Blood would be if none of the vampires were killable or didn't have anything to worry about? Oh my god, someone bombed the True Blood factories! Whatever. Good cheddar biscuits. Characters like Sookie would be completely useless. Russell Edgington would basically be unstoppable if he made this threat.
You are not our equals. We will eat you after we eat your children.
And characters like him or the Sanguinista could come after us day or night with no hindrance. Oh, humanity is screwed. Now with all that being said, dear God, is this boring. I know I've raged this whole time and we're in part 2, but there is such little going on. And that's not to say you have to have a ton going on for there to be an interesting story. But if you don't have a grandiose plot, then you should still have likable characters for me to invest in. And as I've said earlier, everyone in this is garbage tier. Ponyo is a movie that doesn't have a lot of plot. It's about a little magical fish girl who falls in love with a human boy and wants to be human so she can be with him, but the magic she uses to become human inadvertently causes the earth to start to flood. Now she and Sosuke must travel a new ocean to reverse it. There! That's the whole movie! But the characters are well defined, usually relatable, distinct, and most importantly, likable. Hell, even Miyazaki villains tend to be likable. Conclusion. So, legit talent actually went into this. People like Josh Greeley worked on it. What the fuck, Josh? You're better than this tripe. Actually, let's see who played the character I hate the most. Chris Payton. Or Patton. Alright, what does your wiki say? Super Gals. Oh, I like that show. Okay, anything else? What the? Skip Beat? I remember watching that sub in middle school. When the hell did they dub Skip Beat? 2017! Well, congratulations Funimation. It took you over 10 years, but you finally dubbed Skip Beat. And yet it took you less than 5 to dub this garbage and less than 3 to dub its sequel. There is no justice in this world. This show is bad, god awful, and yet it already has a second season, dubbed and everything, and I believe there's a third in the works. The characters are unlikable, the story is trash, the plot holes are laden throughout. There is really not much to like about this show other than its art style. Because at its most barest of bones, it is very pretty to look at. But good art doesn't make a good story, it's just a waste of good art. Just ask Ass Bar.
The writing of Frank Miller rears its ugly head right here as Dick has apparently contracted Torgo syndrome. They're always there for me. They always catch me. Mom and Dad, they always catch me. They're always there for me. They're always there for me.
Okay, Frank, we get it! You don't own a thesaurus! Move on!
And there are terrible messages throughout this entire show, which just makes me ask, what the fuck, Funimation? Unless you are contractually obligated to dub whatever the hell Japan lets you have the license for, you should have passed on this. This show is also classified as a harem, and if this is how reverse harems are, they suck. Normal harem animes, the guys are pretty average looking, and yet they will make every hot girl within a 5-mile radius panties wet by doing the most infinitesimal of actions. but they still do something that garners their attentions, even if it's dumb. What did Yui do? She walked into a room, and then bam, this jackass is all over her, and then the rest of the brothers proceed to paw at her as well. And look at her. Yui isn't exactly average, she's pretty high up there on the scale. Her design is so cute, I think I'm getting a cavity just looking at her. Is this how reverse harem animes are? Well, for my Google image search it is. So the guys can look average and get every woman to love him and stay because they're attracted to what little personality he has. But for reverse harem, she has to be hot and have even less personality than her male counterparts and somehow do even less than the bare minimum, which is basically nothing to garner the guy's attention. From a business perspective, how does that even make sense, Japan? The guys can easily insert themselves in the characters, but the girls, not so much. Yui's harem situation sucks. I wouldn't want to be in her shoes because she's an idiot. I'd rather be Haruhi. Ouran Host Club is really the best reverse harem anime. All the characters are likable, the plot is fun. But this show? It isn't an escapist fantasy, it's a nightmare. And if you're a guy, then you should feel extremely insulted. This show is saying if you're a guy and you see a pretty girl, you're gonna sexually assault her. There is no use fighting it because it will happen. All men are animals and you cannot control your most lustful of urges. But I just have one question, Funimation.
What were they thinking? What the hell were they thinking? What were they thinking? What were they thinking? What were they thinking? What were they thinking?
As I have said over and over and over again, just because Yui is too stupid to realize that she's been kidnapped and being held against her will doesn't mean it's not happening. I don't know what the situation is like in Japan, considering you guys let your kids ride the train as young as 4 by themselves with no real problem. But Funimation, you're in Texas, which is in America, and we do have a real problem of minors disappearing. Thousands of cases of people under the age of 18 are filed missing every year, and we get a few stories every few years of women who had disappeared for a decade or more being rescued, and guess what they had with them that they didn't have before when they vanished without a trace? Children. So, yeah. Logic dictates that considering that none of these jackass brothers learn to keep your hands to yourself, and according to a few people in the comment section of my first video, the worst does happen to Yui. Funimation, you took the time, effort, and resources into dubbing this show that has kidnapping, sexual assault, sexual abuse, attempted rape, emotional abuse, and normalizes it. It's okay for guys to do this as long as they're hot and have money. You guys played it straight when you could have easily turned this into a comedy, a satire of the current vampire and harem environments we've gotten for the last few years, and it would have worked. There are currently a bridge series on YouTube and it's hilarious. It's the tone this show should have been, and it's not like you haven't done satire before, Funimation. But I get it, that was a special case, but you really should have passed on this. Seriously though, I'm not mad at you. I know no one at Funimation makes the animes, and I know no one actually condones this behavior. And I also know that no one at Funimation will ever see this. But the off chance that does happen, I really suggest, unless you're contractually obligated to dub whatever the hell Japan sends you, when you get shows like this that have subject matter as sensitive as this, and the characters are completely unlikable, and they get no sort of comeuppance for their terrible behavior because for whatever reason, the show wants us to think they're the heroes or just get us to find them endearing, then I really suggest you mull it over carefully and think about it and question, should we really dub this? Thank you all so much for watching, and for those who saw the first part and waited, thank you for being so patient. I am so sorry for the massive delay. I've been wanting to do this review for a while, so I want to hear your thoughts on Diabolik Lovers. Am I right? Am I wrong? And if so, why are you a fan of this? So until next time, later days.
My heart is full of hatred and loathing for your ugly faces and stupid clothing. Like I said, I hate you jerks. What a bunch of stupid jerks. I'll smack you up and stomp you down. I'll stomp you back to Ugly Town, or maybe